The Dutch legend Johan Cruyff said that you play football with your head and your legs are just there to assist you. This is true for any game, really. But it's much more truer when it comes to the Soweto Derby, because you have the whole country looking at you. You have 90,000 people at the stadium watching you. So if there is something even tiny bit wrong in your mentality, then you'll be done with. And Kaizer Chiefs lost that game before the ball was even kicked. And we're going to talk about that and how that could be avoided in future games. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I'm Pelo, I'm your host, and this is our fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakosi Football Club. The fault and the biggest mistake was the coach's mentality in that game. You know, when I saw the starting 11 coming out, I looked at it. I'm like, no, this is not true, right? And it's coming out in the graphic that Kaizer Chiefs releases when the game starts. I'm like, no, this can't be true, right? Someone must have photoshopped this. I check again. The team releases the official starting 11. It was true. I'm like, whoa. There are so many problems with this. Because for starters, if you are going to play against Pirates, you cannot be showing any fear. You cannot approach Pirates with fear because they will smell it. It's the derby. If you are coming in and you are being asked, why have you dropped Riff Rosler and brought on Zita Kwinika? And then the coach says, oh no, we're bringing in Zita Kwinika because we want him to stop Hoto. Hoto is a left back, yes, and Hoto is playing as a left back now. He wasn't naturally a left back, but it is being played as a left back by Pirates or a left wing back. And now your main concern is trying to neutralize their attacking threat. But your goal and your plan in neutralizing their attack is by neutralizing our attack. Because Riff Frosler is more than a defender. When Frosler plays, he's also the same guy who goes forward and creates chances for us. And people will say, no, but Kwinika didn't do anything wrong in that game, Umpilo. I can go through the other mistakes that Kwinika made, but that's not the main issue here. The main issue that I have with Frosler not being played is the fact that now, essentially, you have just said we are not going to attack through our right side. So Orlando Pirates, you can just relax and not worry about that, because everything that we are going to do is through the right side. Because a lot of people are now saying, oh no, Mpilo, but it worked because Pirates were not attacking on our right. They were not attacking our right, but guess what we're doing on our right? Nothing. We're also not attacking. We neutralized the very same side that was supposed to also create chances for us. Because if you have our side that has Dolly and Dove attacking, you must also have this other side that has Frosler and another winger attacking. In that way, we are not predictable. But Chiefs were predictable and Pirates knew that. So the same side that we're using to attack, that's the same side that they were using also to attack. And that's where they made some combinations and created some chances. And the other problem with obviously just giving up our attacking, you are also essentially saying to the Kaizer Chiefs players, as a coach, you are telling them that I am afraid of Pirates, so I will be more concerned with how we do defensively rather than what we do offensively. Because it's true what they say, the best way to defend is to attack. And I'm not saying lose your mind and attack and do all that stuff, but here's the thing, here's the scenario. In midfield, I already said fine, I agree, because you are trying to be cautious. You are going to play your Mteto, your Castillo, and your Mart. You are playing them together. So what should their task be? Because creatively going forward, they do not give you much. Then use them to cover for Frosler. If the problem is that you are scared that they will utilize the space that Frosler will leave at the back line, then use Mteto to come across and cover that space. And people are going to say, hey, but Mteto is a midfielder. What about the space that will be left in midfield? Akiri, you are playing all the players who are workaholics. Then that means if Mteto moves across to right back, then Mart should stay in midfield. Or it's Mart who goes across to close the space for Frosler, and then Mteto can remain in midfield. Case in point, you have a player like Liverpool prime team. Who did they have? They had Trent Alexander-Arnold overlapping on the right, who closed that space. It was Henderson or Wijnaldum or Milner or Fabinho. One of those three players. They are not creative at all, those players. What they do offer the team is their athleticism. They work really hard and they cover the space for Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. And those are the players who, when they got tired and they lost their legs in the last season, then Liverpool started getting exposed because the midfield was no longer as athletic as it used to be. So then if you are going to depend on an athletic midfield, then utilize them properly. You're not going to have an athletic midfield and try and force them to play creatively. Manchester City has a creative midfield. Right, they have Rodri, who's good defensively, but also going forward is good. But you also have De Bruyne, you also had Gundogan when they were playing last year and the previous 3 years, right? So with those players, you are depending on them to give you something going forward. But for Kaizer Chiefs, our midfield is not that good creatively, so why are we trying to force them to do the creative work? And you have a fullback who can actually give you something creatively. You drop him, you add another defender. So essentially now, you are playing someone in a back four. Basically, it's now a flat back four, and those 3 midfield players are also very defensive. That's a first mistake with all the problems that it has. Now, you go to midfield, you play all your 3 defensive midfielders, right? Or defensive orientated players, because Castillo is not really a defensive midfielder, but he does more box-to-box kind of play, which we can talk about some other day. But for now, what I want to highlight is the fact that since he wants to insist to play those 3 guys together, he also adds Nkosi Ngqobo because he wants some creativity from him. But what he then does is he doesn't play him on top of the diamond. Because when I see that 4-3-3, that lineup, I'm thinking if you have Nkosi Ngqobo, that means he's playing on top of the diamond. You'll have Mtetwa, you'll have Castillo, you'll have Mart, and then you have Ngqobo in front of them. That's what I was expecting. No, Calvin Johnson takes Ngqobo and he plays him wide. I'm like, what? What is this? What is this? Because Ngqobo has those turns that he does in midfield, where he just turns and then all of a sudden he has split 3 defenders by just turning with the ball, and all of a sudden now the defender who's in front of him, because he just dribbled past midfielders, has to make a decision. When he approaches him, he leaves space for Oranga. When whoever, maybe the right back, also tries to approach him, then there is Dolly attacking that space. There is Shabalala. Well, Shabalala wasn't playing in that game. But in that situation, all of a sudden, you have Nkosi Ngqobo who's now playing on the right. That's not his natural position. And also, when he gets the ball, since Ukunika is more defensive and is being kept there or is being played so that he can stop the threat by Hoto, that means he's sitting deep, and Nkosi Ngqobo, when he gets the ball, he's isolated. Udoli is just chasing and chasing the whole time. He ends up going out with an injury. When did I said this since Segi's time, that I don't like Dolly being played wide because you are risking injuries, especially with a team like Chiefs that likes chasing and kicking the ball all the time. He's going to run and then he's going to get injured. Look at him. He was out of the derby by halftime, injured. Why? Because you are keeping on making him run up and down, run up and down, run up and down. Now we have a problem. You get me? So now, ziningi inkinga, just because you've made that change and you're forcing the other change. If you're going to play 4 midfielders and the number 10, play him as a number 10. This thing of constantly changing players' position, I do not like it. Because even Kunika himself, he did play right back long ago. But in recent years, he's been playing as a centre back. And now if he doesn't play well, he looks like Hussein Kom. And it's the coaches who are making these players play out of position. Takes out Ngqobo for no Velege because he wasn't being productive. But how could he be productive playing out of position? By the way, please like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Danko. Takes out Ngqobo, and then what ends up happening, now Castillo occupies that space. He's playing as a winger. That is until he changes him and he plays him as a number 9. So Castillo starts playing as a 6, box-to-box midfielder, or an 8. He transitions to playing as a right winger, and then he transitions to playing as a striker. Pelak to find. Because even when Umodi comes in for Udoli, what position is he playing? He's playing as a left wing. But when Saile also comes in, he plays as a left wing. So now you have 2 left wingers. Umodi is losing the ball constantly. And then you have Usaile now is also playing in that wing position. I'm like, what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? Why is Usaile not playing on the right side and cutting in and trying to do the things from that side? Yes, he was effective playing from the left. But at times, a stadium where Babona, they are like together in that space. You're like, what kind of wide overload is that? Is Modi supposed to be playing as a 10, going outside or from outside inward? His setup here corner is too weird and awkward. And now there's only one person in the box, which is Castillo. And then you have Usaile dribbling and doing everything that he can do. And then you have Modi. Now everything is just all over the place because the coach from the get-go, he was scared of Orlando Pirates. And there's no two ways of saying this. He was scared, he was too cautious, he was too worried about what they could do, how they could hurt us. There are a lot of things that we can say. But the most important thing, even before we talk about players being frustrated, because I know people are going to bring up Matt throwing his hands in the air, but I will say the same thing. Ranga did the same thing with Modi. Ranga did the same thing. I don't know who didn't cross him the ball, but he was throwing his hands in the air. Dolly was doing the same thing with Dove. Kune was shouting at Ranga at halftime. I don't know if they showed you on TV, but they were shouting at each other. They shouting, which is like encouraging each other. But that one was a fight. Like, hey, when Yabona, it was bad. It wasn't good. It wasn't a nice thing to see. Because the way that the team was set up, it was such a way that we are trying to neutralize Pirates. We don't have a plan offensively. And that was frustrating Orang. And eventually was taken off because he was not doing anything. But who does that come down to? It comes down to the coach. And I will say this. I'm not going to say a coach who's playing with a fear mentality should coach Kaizer Chiefs. Pitso Msimane is now available. Chiefs should go for Pitso Msimane and do the right thing. Because this thing of coaches who are going to be afraid of teams, I'm not buying it. But maybe when you saw differently, let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.